We map Mars today as a frozen, dusty wasteland. But from a geological perspective, we are examining a planetary corpse. This is a dead Earth twin that suffered a catastrophic system failure. Go back 4.5 billion years to the Noachian period, and the conditions were entirely different. Mars was wrapped in a thick atmosphere, etched by active river networks, and likely hosted a massive liquid ocean spanning its northern hemisphere. All of that biological potential, the flowing water, the atmospheric pressure, relied entirely on a single, invisible defensive shield, blocking out the radiation of deep space. A habitable environment is a highly fragile state. It requires a planet-scale mechanical defense system to stay running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That defense system was the Martian Dynamo. A molten iron core generated the planet's magnetic shield. But in this cross-section comparison, Mars is half Earth's diameter. Due to the thermodynamics of scale, a smaller planet bleeds its internal heat into space much faster. As that heat escaped, the molten core of Mars slowly cooled. The fluid iron became sluggish, eventually seizing up entirely, and the dynamo stopped spinning. The shutdown was a mathematical certainty. The moment Mars formed at half the size of our own planet, its thermodynamic expiration date was locked in. When the dynamo halted, the global magnetic shield collapsed. The planet was suddenly exposed, completely naked to the sun. This triggered solar wind stripping. High-energy solar particles physically sandblast the unshielded atmospheric gases, tearing them off the planet into deep space. Down on the surface, the atmospheric pressure plummeted. In that near vacuum, the vast Noachian oceans violently boiled away as vapor, while the remaining moisture immediately froze into the crust. The dynamic, flowing water cycle was gone. The planet had flatlined, transitioning permanently into a static, decaying relic. That brings us to the Amazonian period, the current and final geological epoch of Mars. It is defined by a permanent deep freeze and extinct volcanoes. Look beneath the rover's wheels. When you examine this cracked, brittle terrain, you are looking at the chemical remains of a rotting machine. Without an atmosphere to protect it, the iron-rich rock has been sitting in a slow, multi-billion-year state of oxidation. The iconic red color spanning the horizon is the literal rust of a broken planetary engine. With its internal geology dead, the Martian corpse is now governed entirely by external celestial mechanics. The first casualty of those forces will be its own moon, Phobos. Phobos is caught in a fatal gravitational drag. Year by year, its orbit decays, pulling it in a slow, inescapable spiral toward the Martian surface. As this diagram shows, Phobos will eventually cross the Roche limit. That is the invisible threshold where the planet's tidal gravity finally exceeds the moon's internal structural cohesion, physically stretching and breaking the rock apart. The rebel from that destruction will spread out along the orbital path. Mars will begin its cosmic disposal process, wearing a ring made from the shattered remains of its satellite. Fast forward several billion years, and the solar system enters its final phase. The sun will exhaust its primary fuel and expand into a red giant. As the stellar boundary swells outward, the intense heat will bake the Martian crust. The remaining polar ice caps will undergo a brief, ghostly flash melt before turning instantly to vapor. Shortly after, the expanding star will physically engulf the planet, incinerating the rusted rock entirely. Biology is a fragile byproduct of geophysics. Without a beating, molten heart to sustain a shield, any world is inevitably doomed to the void.